You are watching Conscious Evolution with Wes Heffernan.
Our politics, our political system, red is masculine, blue is feminine. And so you have your conservatives that are about structure and form and, right, like this is how it needs to be. But then you have the Democrats, the left, right now they're telling us no. I mean, look at all those, and I mean, you know, it's messy, right? I mean, y'all, it is really messy. I understand this, but like, look at all that's going on with the left, and they're yelling and screaming, right? And they're, hey, listen, this isn't right. But because we're not turning towards each other and listening to each other, it's pulling us apart further and further and further. And eventually that snaps. But what is important to understand is if we live within this particular structure and we want to become more, what has to happen to the structure? It has to be sacrificed. And that's what's hard for the right to understand, is that we have to let go of these things that we call values and beliefs because not all of them serve the purpose of the whole, right? And you know, in some of my communications on Facebook, one of the things that I've had to come to grips with is, as a white European male, I represent pretty much everything that's wrong in society right now, to most of society. And evolving to a place to understand, like, you know, what does white privilege mean? Like, I've always known I was privileged because of, you know, upper middle class upbringing that I had. But I never saw that as I'm white, I'm privileged, right? All the people, even of color, that were in my experience being raised by my grandparents, right? They were all successful too, or happy. The ones that worked for my grandparents in the Coca-Cola plant, right? They were happy. Elberton was very, very, very segregated, one side of the tracks to the other, but there was only one Coca-Cola plant. So, you know, my grandfather was constantly in these different places on both sides of the tracks and was well respected. And, you know, terminology is terminology. They use words that I don't feel comfortable saying, right? But, you know, it didn't mean then what it means now. Maybe I'm not right in saying that way, but like the concept of me being privileged because I was white didn't exist for me. And it upset me a little bit when this began happening a few years ago. And, you know, and even my son, my 18-year-old son, you know, listening to him and helped me understand what's being said. He's very left-leaning, and I've always thought of myself as very conservative. Although now I don't claim either. Neither are right? It's two wings on the same bird. It's the structure that exists that's the bird, and here's the two sides to it. One represents keeping that structure what it is, and one represents filling that structure, but that structure has accomplished all that it can in its current form. And it's time to let go of that. And I think maybe we've gotten way off base a little bit here, but you know,
people won't understand.
Right. It's almost Easter, right? So had to bring Jesus into it some. But that's what dying on the cross represents, is allowing that structure, whether it's my structure, whether it's my family's structure, whether it's the country's structure, whether it's the world or global structure, right? There's all these cycles that are coming to a head at one point, in one place right now. And you see that, like all your religions, all your spiritual beliefs, all like, even when you're looking at the ideas and science of the cycles of the sun, and there's all these things that are coming together. The Mayan calendar, for example, that are telling us, hey, it's not just about me and my structure, or this family structure, or the country. It's the global. It's the entirety of the structure. It has fulfilled its purpose for what it could do. And if we want to move forward, and we want to grow, and we want to become more as an individual or collectively, then it's time to let go, and it's time to die on the cross, and it's time to allow that structure to be recycled, right? And in doing so, we'll create a larger, a grander, a more perfect space. Is it going to be perfect? No. Will there be a time where we have to do this all over again? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, every day should be, or every week, whatever, like it should be about that recycling, about dying on the cross. It's dying on the cross isn't something you do once. You do it repeatedly. And so long as you continue that process of recreating yourself and recreating your environment and telling a greater story, a grander story. But anyway, we got to the Grand Canyon, right? Eventually.
This one's more of a question than anything else, and maybe this would be the question for book 3 that I'm trying to answer here. But why is everyone afraid of letting go and of sacrificing that structure? I think it's because you don't know how to build a new structure, and without the concept of understanding how to build a new self in order to fill, you're afraid to let go of what you currently have. That's what we're teaching. That's the process. That's it. That's what all of this is about. You should be able to let go of the fear if you understand the processes behind building a new experience. Right? I don't know. That's book 3.
Thanks for watching. Join us next time on Conscious Evolution. Don't forget to subscribe.